Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful to be here again with you. Oh my God, Rebekah, I just had to have you on. And I love the theme, this new book you have, Born to Do It. I mean, that alone, we'll get into the rest, but like born to do it, you're born to do it. So I just like that, just so resonates. Great way to put it, right? You're born to do it. There's no one else that can do what you're here to do. And that's what I hear in the title. Is that right?
Exactly. No one else can do what you're put on this earth to do apart from yourself.
Right, exactly. So we're going to really help you begin to understand how to really decode that for yourself during this show through Rebekah's beautiful guidance. And as always, as I always like to say, smash the subscribe button. Like people say, smash that subscribe button. All right. Give me a review too. Hey, give me some reviews and all that good stuff. Make your comments depending on where you're listening. I'm so grateful for all of you being here. Let's talk about Rebekah, and then we're going to rock and roll from there. Okay. After choosing not to pursue a career in academia, teaching film studies, Dr. Rebekah Louisa Smith began her film industry career in 2009, working as one of the producers of Wales' most successful national horror film festivals, hopefully I get this right this time, Abertoir Horror Festival. And during that time began to develop a great knowledge of the film festival business, which led her to become inspired to start her own innovative company in an industry she loved. Rebekah and the hardworking team behind her company, the Film Festival Doctor, are creators of success and are committed to nurturing filmmakers in order to help them secure film festival screenings, win awards, and positive recognition within the film industry. So there might be a couple people I want to point this episode to help them out with that. Currently, her company has won more than 800 awards for their clients, and her team have supported nearly 850 creatives across the world, enlightening and inspiring their journey towards achieving their goals and following their filmmaking dreams. So this is doubly for you if that's true for you. And if that's not what you have in your scope yet, listen in, because she's going to help you make your dreams come true either way. One of the factors which has led to her success is blending of both practical business skills and spiritual techniques that infused new life into her company's growth. She decided to record her hard-won knowledge in this new book, Born to Do It, becoming the leader of a business niche using powerful spiritual techniques to help others who are pondering the leap into entrepreneurship or are already on the journey but yearning for more success and profitability. Rebekah now also offers personal mentoring, described by many of her clients as deeply knowledgeable and inspirational mentor. Rebekah supports individuals to adopt new strategies, mindsets, and communication techniques which produce extraordinary results. And you can visit her at RebekahLouisaSmith.com. That's RebekahLouisa and then Smith.com. And we'll give you more contact information as we go through the show here. So Rebekah, wow, that's incredible. And there's so many people, increasingly, I think more and more people do want to do filmmaking. I run into people here and there that either are already doing filmmaking, but highly successful, or want to at certain levels of success, or want to get it going, or that's part of their future. I think that's all amazing. And I think that that's actually a venue that people should consider. They're leaders, right? Anybody could make a film these days. I mean, it's not like we need a $10 million budget to even consider doing a film, or whatever, $1 million even. But like, we don't need all that. So that's something I think that's important for our spiritual rock stars out there is to remember this could be for you, this whole filmmaking aspect. We'll get back to that. Okay, so, but I want to learn about your journey, Rebekah. I know that usually people that come on, everything hasn't been easy street for them their whole life, to say the least, right? So they've had a journey to meltdown or breakdown or trauma or something of some sort of variety, and have risen up to be the spiritual rock stars they are in the world today. So tell us, what got you to where you are today, doing the work that you're doing?
So it all kind of came by accident, which is the best way, as I've found, both with my business and my book. So I was studying for my PhD in Aberystwyth in Wales, United Kingdom. And my original plan, what I thought I wanted, was to move to Wales from a small town in England and settle down and live in Wales and teach and study. But I found out actually that wasn't what I wanted. It's what people told me maybe I should do or thought would be the best thing for me to do, because I was involved in academia for a long time, and I'd done a lot of stuff in that area and whatever. So I thought it was, but then when I was asked to co-produce and work on the Abertoir Horror Festival, which you mentioned at the beginning, I didn't think this would happen. But when I was producing the horror festival, I began to come alive and be myself. And I thought, I'm really loving doing this job, like working in the film industry and producing a horror film festival, organizing it and getting the films selected, looking after filmmakers. I'm really liking this. Do I like it more than my PhD? I had to think that. And I thought, hang on, maybe I do. So I gave it a few weeks. And then at a conference, one of my friends turned around and said, God, don't you just love academia? This is the best thing in the world, isn't it? And I was like, no. No, it's not. So I thought, for me, no. So I knew that was the time to not go down the path of teaching and all that kind of stuff after the PhD, and to instead build up my company, which was created and came and conceived working through the Abertoir Horror Festival. So I found that through working at the festival, a lot of filmmakers loved coming to festivals and attending them, and celebrating their wins at the festival, and doing Q&As and all that kind of stuff and PR. But what they hated was that they couldn't find anybody to help them navigate the festival circuit and create a festival plan for them, a strategy. They said, well, we're just hoping for the best and seeing what happens. There was no one to do it. And it was a very under the radar service. So I thought, I'm going to do this. There's a market here. I can make this work. I've got the knowledge. So I'm going to make this business work. So on the day I did my PhD I drove to London, moved into a basement flat over there, had the business just about up and running. And then since then on, every day I put work into it to be an established brand. And I love it. I love what I do. This is my sole purpose, not academia.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so that's amazing. And then so you're known as the film festival doctor. So where did the idea for this book kind of come from getting into being the film festival doctor then?
So the book also came in by accident, another fun story. But I was interviewed in a book called Unique. It's an Indian book. And he approached me and said, I'd like you to be part of this because of what you've got a great story. And if you could share your life story in this quite in-depth interview. And I was like, okay. So it was like a really in-depth interview. It was like 10 pages kind of thing of my story. And then a publishing company read it and said, wow, have you ever thought about writing your own book about your own story to direct clients towards you and just generally just to share, your wisdom and to help them on their journeys? And I thought, well, no, I haven't. So we had a conversation about it with the publishing company that published the book, Abertoir House Publishing. And she explained, kind of what a book is in terms of we do self-help books, etc. And then I thought, is there a book in me? And then I kept getting feedback from people that read that interview, not just her. And they were saying, oh, we actually now don't feel alone help getting our business started up. We feel now we're on the right path and we're supported. So thank you for sharing your knowledge. So I thought, there's a book in me. It's going to come out now. So the book, I didn't want the book to be a dry how-to book, start your first business or how to use spiritual techniques in your business. I want it to be more creative book that fused together the key kind of business and spiritual practices to get your business off the ground and tap into your soul purpose like I did. So it's my story. So it's not a typical how-to book that's all methodical and dry. It's very much like through my story and through my experiences. And I talk about the people who helped me on the way and how to start up your first business using those key practices, both spiritual and business techniques.
Yeah, I love the way you talked about your story with like a decision point, right?
Yes.
Like do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? And what incited you? How did you make that decision? How did that come to you? I mean, I have my own stories of how like I've been at those crossroads. Like one way I'll like before I proposed to my wife, for example, I took myself out to dinner first. I just sat with it. I'm like, okay, well, either the relationship's going to go further in that direction, or we're probably not going to stay together. So like, let's just be clear, either way, by the time I'm done with dinner, and then of course I decided to marry her. So, but like we have those choice points. How do you go about making these big decisions in your life, whether in that case or in other things as you move through your journey?
Yeah, so I kind of had to, in that respect, people around me were a little bit unsure if this would work, this business, because I had nothing to compare it to, another successful model. There was someone else, and I mentioned the book, and he's brilliant. It's called Film Festival Secrets. He kind of like created this whole thing, really. It was, most visible to create it that was available on the internet at the time, back in like 2009, 2010. So it wasn't really a model I could really use because he was doing many consulting. I wanted to do a service that was actually being more hands-on and helping the filmmakers achieve their goals and work with them as a team, as a manager, and come on board to represent the film. So I had like nothing to compare it to. So people were like, well, are you sure you want to take that risk and go to London, the big city, the big smoke, the capital city of like the film industry, but do you really want to do that when nothing's really at this minute grounded or a big kind of foundation? You've got to build it there. So I said yes, because my gut and my soul purpose, I didn't know I had my soul purpose tuned into at the time until later on, but that's what it was saying, is that yes, you can, because you can do it. And I had like people around me were, some were very supportive and like, oh, okay, good, well, as long as you got, a backup plan, which I did. But also I had people around me who were not supportive. So those that believed in the idea but said, oh, you're going to take you a long time to prove it. Do you want to go all that way to London? And then my lecturer in the PhD, he obviously, his area of expertise is not film industry. He's totally focused upon academia. So he's not interested in the film world. So it was difficult to convince him. We didn't see eye to eye, but then he got it when he saw the Facebook post a few years later that it was doing well, and it was obviously working hard on it. So it really was my gut instinct that I had to just listen to and quieten it down. People were supportive, but as I said, some were just a bit like, oh, I had the fear behind it. But I thought, no, I'm going to tune out this noise and think, what do I want? What am I supposed to be doing? I know it's not academia because I'm not in the same headspace or sing from the same hymn sheet as everybody else. So I need to be in my world, and my world is the film industry.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, a lot of people talk. We've talked about the gut instinct and the gut feeling, forever. And just the other day, there was something that, as much I'm like part of my whole thing of teaching people all these years is always around intuition, everything. Yet I was analyzing, or I'm always like a student of everything. So I'm like I got a gut feeling about it's what's coming up, and I really did check in with my gut. I'm like, yeah, that's I really just have this gut feeling like that's the direction to go with this thing, right? So just like gut feeling. But then as you were talking about it, I started realizing that people like me that have very strong minds can have very strong mind. Sometimes we overanalyze the heck out of everything. So we're like, I don't know, my gut's kind of telling me to do it, but what about let's look at the spiritual people. What about my angels? What do they say? And what about my heart? And then what about this? What about and we make everything so complicated. And trying to tune in and tune into it about 100 different ways. And now let me do the pendulum and down or whatever.
Yeah.
So we do so muscle testing, like, so many different, and everybody's going nuts trying to figure it out. I mean, my sense of it is often we're just way overcomplicating our intuitive process. And I was just curious what your take is on that, where people kind of struggle getting those really clear answers, even when they're quite intuitive, but for themselves, it's really hard.
A lot of the time, I think it's too much noise in the mind. So I think a good start is to meditate and to just quiet the mind And then the answers kind of come through, maybe not at that moment in time you're meditating, like instantly, but more a case of when you do it, you can actually, when you go outside in nature, then the answers just come. I mean, I wasn't a particularly very spiritual person when I tuned into my soul purpose at the time. I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't into that world. I kind of maybe knew bits about it, but I just dabbled maybe, but I didn't really do much. It wasn't until I moved to London that I got more involved in that world, and it became a part of my life to help me through many areas. So a lot of the time it's a case of trusting the gut, but to quieten the noise down and people in the outside world and whatever is meditation, followed by maybe researching the law of attraction, because that people say like attracts like, and that's true, but reading The Secret and reading those kind of books about Marie Diamond's in that book as well, who's in my book, that's a really good start just to start off. And then those answers come clearly, because then you see things differently and you then perceive things differently, and you can tune into yourself more audibly without any noise in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something where we talk about a lot on the show. Meditation is that foundational key. Let go of that noise. And for me, a lot of times it's just like, even if I feel like there's guidance coming in, like, oh, do this, but yet in my energetic field, it's kind of clunky, like it just doesn't feel right yet. I just know like it's either timing or it's just not quite the full right answer, and I just need to let it just sit, for the moment. And then when something is really right, really right, there's many ways it could show up, right? But one is you just know, it's just so clear, right? It's clear as day. The other one is it feels right, but you're scared of it, right? So like, okay, I should go this way, but I don't know, I'm really scared. Maybe I won't do that. Can I do it another way? Like, so we try to find another way to do something because we're afraid of something. So I think that's the thing for people to realize is, sometimes you could be a yes to something if you're open enough to hear what your soul is calling you into. Because I know you teach people and tuning into their soul's calling, their soul's purpose. And when we do that, then it opens up our deeper intuition, so to speak, our deeper guidance of what's really would serve our highest, right? So how do you, I know that you have a process that you talk about in the book of helping people discover their soul purpose. How do you help people to do that?
So the way we do it is, tuning into your soul purpose is not the easiest thing, because it's something you're not really like looking for. So the way we do it is to do a several kind of 3-step kind of approach. So the first thing we say is, right, what is it that you're most drawn to? Don't worry about business plans right now. What are you most drawn to? What hobby or interest are you most drawn to? And what is it about this that you love? And is it the kind of thing that you can step into it and hours pass? Like 3 hours have gone, lunch and dinner is out the window. It's just literally immersed in it. And you feel like you're in your element. And also what makes you feel alive in yourself? What makes you feel more like to you, more true to your authentic self? So when we break those down, by the end of it, there's more of an idea for the client to figure out what it is that they do want to do. And also in a few weeks' time, normally after that, it becomes pretty solid and pretty clear. So again, a good example is with a client of ours who we work with. And I've known him for a while, but then when I started my book and he came to me and said, look, you're right. You've said this before, but I can't keep doing this job, which I dread to go to every day. When Sunday night comes, he has panic attacks because he doesn't like to go into the office in the morning. Even working from home is bad enough because he doesn't like doing the work. So I said, well, as we both know, it's not your sole purpose. He went, no, I know it's not. I don't know what it is. So we broke it down and we found out through the journey together that he loved making candles. And I've smelt them before. They're really nice candles. And he gave me one. I was like, wow, this is pretty unique and a very beautiful scent, homemade and aromatherapy. And he said, yeah, I love doing it. It's a hobby. I said, well, this hobby could be a job, don't you think? Because there's a massive market for candles, not just in someone's house, but businesses, restaurants, spas, the whole lot. Why don't you maybe try this a part-time thing? So what he did was every weekend he would make candles to relax himself from that awful job. So when he made the candles, he had a lot of stock. So then he set up a shop on Instagram. People then started to buy, and it was, doing good. And then other companies who followed him saw the candles and the images and wanted samples. And then they brought stock. And now that job he did went from being full-time to part-time to now this is a full-time job and he has staff. So already in a short space of time. So I was like, wow. And it showed then that he now is doing his soul purpose, what he's born to do. These candles smell amazing, but he looks like he's enjoying his life. for the first time. And before you'd be like gray and, you know, a bit down, but now he's like happy, alive, and he glows because he's doing every day what he should be doing.
That's great. That's great because usually the thing is people might be able to identify what they love to do, things they love to do. Well, I could dance for hours. I could meditate for hours. I could whatever, needlepoint for hours, whatever it might be for the person. But they don't see how's it gonna make me any money? You know, that's the thing that they struggle with. So I imagine you get that a lot. People have big dreams, big ideas as well, and things they're passionate about. They could lose themselves for hours doing it, but they have no clue. How am I going to turn this into a livelihood? So how do you help people, kind of figure out how to do that?
So one of the key things when you tune into your soul purpose is, you know, what it is that you're born to do. Next thing is there a market for it? Is there a demand for it? So when I tuned into mine about Abertoir Horror Festival, and there was a gap in the market that no one was doing what I was doing at the time, which was helping people get their films into festivals. There was a big market, and there was a market for it, people who could afford the service, and there was a demand. People didn't know the service that it existed, so it was obviously having to convince people to do it because it would work, and having like a track record about it. So what I normally say to people is, right, do your research, and is there a demand for this niche that you are expert in? But also I tell them to really home in on the niche to then find that target market. So for example, say I have a client who is really an expert in social media. Now that's a niche, but it's a massive niche. I mean, it's huge. So then we really narrow it down and say, well, what aspect of social media and what area? So it could be, you know, like him or her could be an expert in helping small businesses expand their reach and growth and clientele through Instagram, or making content for LinkedIn, something like that, you know, or Facebook marketing. So that's your micro niche. And then you've got to figure out how you excel in that, and what you can do that other people can't, what you can bring to the table, or what you can do differently that is a bit more of expertise. So that's the way to narrow it down. And then you've got to figure out, is there a market for that? So the best way I like to do it is to hold a free Zoom meeting, and then have a group of people who like social media, or who are business owners, for example, that need to get their business a bit more outreach. And then to say, you know, would you use social media? Is there a market here? Could you use this service? And if they say, yes, we want it, then you have a market. So do that, and also look on the internet as well, what people's most common problems are about social media and Facebook marketing, let's say. And then you're going to know by the end of it exactly where you stand and how you can serve to this market. If, say, your sole purpose is stamp collecting, that could be more of a hobby. Not much of a market to buy and sell and to make money from a living. It has to be sustainable. But even something like my niche, like film festival distribution, helping people get their film into festivals, that's very niche. It still is niche now. There's not many of us that do it. It's not a huge amount. There's more people than there were before, but it's not huge compared to, say, you know, health food shops, so that kind of thing, or candles. There's always a market for your gift, always a market. So plenty of room.
Yeah, there's usually always a way. I mean, if you're in a stamp collecting, maybe you need to create some book about it, or some, you know, like some aspects of it are fascinating. The stamp collector, I mean, there could be a way. You never know. So it's definitely a number of elements to look at. And now there are cases where people are doing things that are a little bit revolutionary, right? Like there's not necessarily like, oh, we know, like for 100% everybody wants this, right? Nobody knew that they needed I don't know, they needed maybe even a mobile phone like 20, 30 years ago, you know, something like that. But
Yeah.
But you know, when you really consider the possibilities of where things are going, you could see that this is something that could be really helpful to people, that people would maybe really love. So I guess sometimes there would be certain exceptions to the typical market research, I would think. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. There is. I mean, like social media is a thriving, massive niche, for example, as are candles for that matter. But there's always a way, you know, not around it, but there's always going to be room for you somewhere, as long as it is like a niche which has a demand. As you say, totally. There's always a way. I think the word is not around it. I like to say it more as a way to fit yourself in, you know, and give your expertise and your gift, because you know how to present it in the right way when you can articulate what you're born to do.
You help with, you talk about energetic branding.
Yeah.
So what is it and why is this important? Yeah.
So it's really important energetic branding. So I met a lady called Marie Diamond, who is a contributor in The Secret. She's the Feng Shui part of The Secret.
Yeah, she's been on our show too. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Marie is one of my dear friends, and we met just through a mutual friend of ours introducing us at a party. He was like, "This is Marie Diamond, a Feng Shui expert." I was like, "Oh." And then I said to her, "I've just start my company up. I've just moved to London." And she was like, "Oh, great." And then she saw my business card and she said, "Whoa, there's a problem with this logo." So I thought my logo was amazing, and it was good. It had a lot of potential to it. It was a very striking logo. You can see it on my website, thefilmmakers.com. But on the website, you can see the logo. But it's a woman who has a very cool kind of like look on her head and like a very kind of 70s look, and then my company. But she said, "Oh, the problem I've got in this logo is energy is wrong. The energy is out of alignment, and it's stopping you from attracting clients because it's not the right kind of energetic structure." She said, first of all, the woman's looking away from the logo. She's got her back to it. And in Feng Shui world, that means that you have your back to your clients, not let them into the shop. So you're turning away from your clients, you're turning back at them like this. You should be looking at them like that. She said, you also need more color in you, on yourself, and in the logo. To add to the logo like red, red carpet in the film festival section, add gold, add a star, and then turn it the right way around. And she said, I swear it will change. And I was like, oh. So immediately I booked a consultancy with her and I said, I need help on this and also myself because I was feeling a little bit low. Because obviously just moving to London, I was struggling hard and, hustling. I was doing okay, but I mean, I just felt there was more, I didn't know what it was. And she brought that out of me. And she changed the logo around with my designer. We changed my whole look around because I was wearing quite dark clothes. And she's like, need more like color like now, like bright nails and all this. But you need to stand out more in the right colors that are what we call the quantum colors in her world to access the abundant universe. So I was like, wow, at first it was a lot to take in. But then she told me then about with the branding that how important it is for color and the right kind of energy frequency. And then by just doing that little tweak, those little things made a huge difference. And it made an impact on social media, it made an impact on online, it made an impact when I was at exhibitions, at festivals with the brand, everything. It was incredible. And that's why I say to anybody, as mentioned in my book, it's really important that the energy of your branding and your logo is spot on. Because if it's not, it can cause you mentally and physically and your clients to walk away and turn their back on them without consciously realizing. So I recommend that for sure.
Yeah. When she was on the show too, I mean, I remember things we talked about, and it's just like, also, I mean, even people who are already having some level of success, but you make these tweaks, right? These different tweaks that you're like, well, it's good. I think this is good enough, whatever it is. And I look good in this sweater or whatever it is. But then you start to realize that there's better, there's an enhancement, and it makes things easier and it expands your success. So, I mean,
Exactly. I mean, she changed my whole wardrobe. As I mentioned in the book, is when I sat down with her in London in this cafe, in a restaurant, and we sat down and had lunch, and I was like, wow, she does shine like a diamond, because she told me about the colors that I should wear, because I was in like white and black and blue and dark and gray and whatever. And then she was like, telling me all these colors, and she just shone, literally shone. Like she had this amazing gold necklace, she had white, and she had saffron yellow, she had everything was in alignment. I was like, well, it must work because it works on her. And then when I changed everything, I was like, I could feel the shift in me. It's really amazing to feel that energy change in my logo, in my branding, and me, because obviously I'm my brand. Because we're the face of the brand, and she just changed that all around. So I was really grateful for her for that.
Now, so what do you do to help people with that? You know how to help people understand what the right logos are, or the branding, and feng shuiing, add different aspects of their business. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I mentioned in chapter 4 about why it's important to, obviously brand your business and have the right energy behind it. And I mentioned the story, and I talk about the story of Marie, how we met, and then how she changed everything around the business, and how from that point onwards, I changed everything in me, and also how it affects your mental health. So we mention it when I do my mentoring. I do mention Marie, and I talk about her work, and I put them in the right direction towards her audiobooks, because she has a very good audiobook called Quantum Colors, which is pretty much what we talked about with our consultancy. And it's where she has these quite a lot of CDs, which she talks about how certain colors access the abundant universe. For example, like magenta is, power, silver, magnificence, gold, abundance, and money. And she talks about things very specifically, like, when you're going to meet a client for the first time, saffron yellow shows compassion towards them, and it brings out their energy with the colors mixed together. I mean, it's in you, brings it out in them. So stuff like that I always mention to clients, and in the book it's very carefully expressed, because I do it through my own story with her, and how nowadays it's a big thing that I just love collecting bright colors and bright clothing, and with my nails as well, you can tell it's like luminous, but things like that are really part of the essential part of the journey, and she taught me that, so I was very, very grateful for it.
That's great. Yeah, she has a number of free tools. She's one of the most generous people I've ever met.
Yeah, she's ace. And now she has her Christmas feng shui tips, which are amazing, that she does a lot. So that's really good as well.
Absolutely. And so how is it so when you are working with people, so how does that work in terms of how you get them set up so that things are magically working? We've got the feng shui, so you've got that aspect, and then you have what you talk about this cosmic ordering. So what's that all about? Let's talk more about the cosmic ordering. That sounds like fun.
Cosmic ordering is a lot of fun. So actually, the woman who runs Butterfly House Publishing, Ellen Watts, she actually published a book called Cosmic Ordering Made Easier. And I didn't know about this book at the time when it was released, but when I was studying the world of spirituality, because the reason why I went more into the world of spirituality was through a difficult relationship breakdown with my ex-boyfriend. And I turned to world of spirituality to help me get answers and to help myself. And my therapist at the time, who I first started working with, he said to me, you should look into cosmic ordering. I didn't think much of it at the time, but he explained how his partner wrote down a list of all what she wanted in a partner, and that was him. And she told me how it worked, and he was talking about, how powerful the universe is when you ask for what you want. We didn't talk about it too much, but he mentioned it, and I was like, this is really interesting. So what we did after that was, a few years later, I remember him saying it. I stopped working with him after time because I got better. And I thought, I need to look into cosmic order now, because clearly what he said can work. And I Googled it. And I found her book. And I ordered her book, and it changed my life. So in the book, she talks about how you can co-create with the universe and how to get more of what you want more often. So it's not really like manifesting. Manifesting is obviously where you say, my intent is to, etc., or you visualize it, in your head or on paper or vision boards, all that kind of thing, which is all great. It's a little bit different cosmic ordering. So it's where you kind of literally place an order of the universe like you would be going for dinner. So for example, when you're in a restaurant, you'll say, what I really like to order is chips and a pizza and lemonade. That's for yourself. So you just place the order for you, no one else, just you. And so that the way that you do it with her technique, and it works, I do it every day, and I integrate this in my business and also myself. And she says, what you do is you say, what I really want is a parking space upon my arrival to Larchmont in Los Angeles for the good of all concerned. Thank you. You have to say at the end, for the good of all concerned, because you don't want anyone else to lose out for you to gain. Say something like you wanted some money, you want someone to die to get that, for example. So by saying that, you're covered, and it's for all of you in a nice circle. So I did it, and I said, I'll do the parking order. So I asked for a parking space in London. London's a hard place to get a parking space. It's pretty bad. I think LA is bad, but no, it's bad in London. So when you ask that, and you say that what I really love and appreciate is to get a parking space from my arrival to Soho in London, for the good of all concerned, let go, relax, and it will come. So when you're driving around London High Street, and I was looking around for the space, and someone else pulls out, and that's my space, because they have organized it for you. But it is important that you do say those words, and everything is for the highest good. There's no bad karma. You don't want bad things to happen to people. It's also just for you, what you want, and for the best intentions. So I tried it, and I kept trying it, and it kept working. It's not the easiest thing to do. You've got to be like, kind of two bigger orders, something like, I'm going to get married tomorrow, nothing like that. It's got to be very specific and break these things down to bite-sized chunks. But it's a great technique to keep working with, and it works like a charm. So I use that in my business. So I do, for example, each morning when I want my goals to be achieved and what I want, I put it in the form of an order and say, what I really love and appreciate is for one of my films to be accepted into a film festival today, for the good of all concerned. And for myself, when I'm out and traveling, to keep myself safe, to be able to buy something I want in the shops or something, anything. You can even ask it to like universe to nudge you, to remind you to do something. So I do it all the time when I go to the shops. I ask the universe to remind me to buy some, kitchen roll or whatever. And I remember when I go in the shop, I'm like, kitchen roll. So again, all these things kind of work in a weird, it might sound slightly weird, but it works because it is a form of co-creation with the universe. And it's not a maybe very well-known technique as, say, manifesting, but it's been around since the Bible time. It's not just her created it for years, but it's a really great technique. And it's something I recommend everybody does and uses in their business and their personal life.
So just so everybody's clear, so if I'm like, okay, how about in someone's business? So like, I want a client by the end of the day for the highest good of all, and just relax. Like, can you use it for any? So you use the word I. Some people say you shouldn't say things like I want or whatever. You should be more like I am receiving, all that kind of stuff. So tell us more about how to say. I understand for the highest good of all. That was really clear, and then relax, right? So, but how? Are there any specific instructions on how to really say the rest of it, or how much does that matter?
It does matter because it's important to let go and to allow what you want to come in and to receive it. That's a really crucial thing, a very crucial thing. So when you've done that, then things change. So I do agree with you as well, because Ellen does use the technique of what I really want, which is fine. But I like to say what I really love and appreciate is for X. And then at the end, for the good of all concerned. So I always say it like that, like, what I would really love or what I really appreciate is X. And always at the end to say thank you. So the gratitude is very important as well. So it can be done for anything. You can do it for anything, but it has to be obviously within your highest good. And something you want to get like a client in the day. Yes, you could do that too. You just in the morning place it, and then something will come through. You just have to just let go and trust it, and not think about how it will come in, where,
Right.
because that's when it could get blocked.
Yeah, that's where we get back in our head and trying to figure out where is it? Where is it?
Yeah. Where is it?
It's like when you're looking for your keys when you lost them. Where are they? Where are they? Oh my God. And then you can't find them. Then when you relax, oh, there they are.
Exactly. It's like that. So it's a kind of similar thing. You have to just literally just say, like, let it go, and like, okay, well, it's what it is. It's going to be this, and that's going to happen. So yeah. So exactly. That's how you play it.
Yeah. What I love and appreciate is, is having a new client today, for the highest good of all. And I might add like, thank you, and just relax. So that's a fun one. I think I'll play with that one. So it's a great.
Yeah, it's in the book, in chapter 7 of the book. It's in there, and it tells you the technique and Anne's work, and
Yes.
That's a good step-by-step guide in that chapter.
Yes. And you also talk about utilizing this. Yeah, this is a way to manifest. Now you talk about other ways of manifesting that are not common. Can you tell us more about that? That's in the book.
Yeah, so back when I was going through the ex-boyfriend drama and getting my head around it, I began to start doing manifestations, saying things like, it is my intent to be a strong woman. It is my intent to be confident. But I felt like I wasn't saying enough, or they weren't working for some reason. I just felt I wasn't able to believe it. So it wasn't until many years later that I met through a mutual friend of mine, and I was called Nand Harjani. And he runs a company called Creative Life Sciences in Long Beach, California. And he's amazing. Like, he is incredible. And I said to him, well, here are my affirmations. And he went, oh, they're a bit too general, not specific. And that's why your outcomes are not being specific and very general and vague. So you're not really getting what you want, because you're not really asking it in a very specific way. So he said, let's do it this way. So one affirmation I had was, my intent is to have a very strong and my intent is to be a very strong businesswoman and have a great business. That was a little bit vague. And he was like, it's a bit too vague. So let's beef it up. So he said, how about we do it this way? And he said, it is my intent for my business to thrive and grow each and every day during the COVID-19 pandemic. I receive an abundance of film festival screening invites every day for my clients' films, new business leads, and I close lots of new business deals during this period with clients who are great to work with. So stuff like that. So then I remembered it each day, and I felt my body tune into it more, and I felt connected to that affirmation. And doing more detailed ones, saying it each day, really helped me a lot, because I wasn't getting what I wanted before. I was getting other stuff, and I was getting stuff, and I was co-creating, but I wasn't doing it enough to really make a difference and to get to the next step what I wanted, because it wasn't very vague. I mean, he did say that the universe, if you're going to be vague, the universe can't give you what you want because you're not being specific. So him giving me that help and finding a new way to manifest and to write down my affirmations, my God, it helped a lot. It changed me and my perception big time.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I think affirmations are so incredible, and yet there's ways of doing them, of course, that don't work as well. So could create just frustration, right? I'm having $1 million today. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of be within reason and a bit more logical, and also have more detail, like today. But it's a case of you have to structure it around and say, it is my intent for my business to thrive and grow and make a turnover of $1 million by the end of the year or something like that, beginning of the year or in February or whatever. But yeah, just change it, keep it fresh, and to really make sure you feel the emotions, because my therapist told me that it's very important to feel the feelings. I wasn't doing that when I was younger, and now I do that more than I did before, and I'm getting used to feeling those feelings and not to just push them away, and to really feel it, to go through it is an important thing.
Yeah, feel it. And then, that you feel just connected with it. Sometimes it's not always, I think feelings can be very important if we feel sticky around the matter, especially. We need to let the feelings come out and really get connected that way. And yet I know that if something isn't that big of a deal to you, it's a big deal to get a parking spot where you are, but here where I live, it would be no big deal. It's a parking spot, that's not a big thing to affirm. It's okay, I could be relaxed about that. But something else, if I get all bent out of shape, then we might have to work with our emotions more so to clean up the energy and get ourselves energetically connected in a state where that can unfold. And yet sometimes things, if we can let it be so easy, we can just feel a sense of connection, just drop in the order really easy, and boom, there it is, right? So
and be excited to receive it. Look forward to receiving it.
Yes. Yeah, just stupid little things I do sometimes. We're picking up dinner last night at a Mexican place. They usually give us tons of hot sauce, and I usually say, just give me a few, and then they throw tons in. So for fun, knowing I'm creating it all, to be honest, I look at it that way. Okay, this time I'm going to tell them hey, make sure you give us some. Give us some real hot sauce there. And then I said, but I planted the intent. Don't give me too much. Don't give me too much. I get home, we find out they didn't give us any. That's how far I went through the whole other. Usually they just fill the bag no matter what I say. This time, because I'm so clear about wanting less, I got all the way down to having none. So
exactly, yeah. So it's wow, well, that came through because I didn't want any, so I didn't get any.
It's just fascinating when we pay attention to what we're doing, because we're all doing these things, but unconsciously usually. So
exactly,
all kinds of orders. So tell us more about you're really, you are really huge into the fashion scene. So and you told us about some of the colors you're wearing. So why are these colors so important? I am kind of fascinated because Marie did talk about this with me. I don't know if she would really approve of what I have on today, to be honest. I don't know. But she did tell me that black was good for me. I happened to be wearing black that day. So she says, good choice. You're going good there. So tell us more about wearing. How can, I know it's in the book. We already kind of talked about it, but tell us, I am a little bit curious about all these little things, right? Like colors. Tell us more about picking our colors.
So I didn't used to wear any kind of nice color or bright color when I was younger. I'd always be black and white and gray, and nobody could really see me and stand out. And Marie said, you've got to really stand out with your brand. You've got to wear the right colors, and it really will make a difference. So she was right. So when I went to a film festival, I wore this yellow, leopard print yellow dress to stand out when I got there. And I did. And everyone looked at me, and this girl was in bright pink. And the two of us together just like stood out, and these people just couldn't notice us, you couldn't miss us. We were always so well noticed. I did that because I wanted to, in a big festival, it's the Rebekah Film Festival, I wanted to wear this like really stunning dress to then, you know, show that I had all this compassion for the filmmakers and my filmmakers and the festival itself. So it was really, really good to be there. But having that it also changes your mental health, because I realized actually when I was wearing the dark colors, I was a bit down, depressed, and not really myself. Whereas when I wore those colors, I felt uplifted and felt good in myself and could, you know, really make out. And people notice that also in your skin, your energy, your aura field. So colors are really important in our daily routine for our fashion. If you see on my website, on the RebekahLouisaSmith.com website, there's a page that says fashion. And it's all the collaborations I do with up and coming brands that I love. And all the colors there are really bright, striking, and I love them to work with them. They're really, really good people. And it just really stands out from the crowd, literally. And people will comment all the time on my Instagram, it's just full of color. Never used to be, but now it's all just color, and be at events wearing bright colors that really stand out with the right kind of Marie's quantum colors to really bring out the right energy at that right event. Even when I'm in my home, I wear bright colors too. During the lockdown, I wasn't wearing anything that was, you know, dark. It was always bright to keep the energy momentum going despite the tough times in the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating how much what we wear affects our energy. And the colors around us too. All these things make a difference. I know you also, we didn't get to it today, but talk about vision boards and all that. I got a wonderful vision board in front of me, and like how these things, you know, they're, you know, it's like what you're put your attention on is your reality. I mean, so like colors are speaking to us, everything speaks to us. So I think
yes,
remembering that that's true, and that there's certain colors that help us to shine more is really incredible. And you talk about that in the book, and how to, you know, determine that, it sounds like. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, so tell us more about your, I'd like to know more about your company, the Film Festival, Doctor, because that sounds fascinating. Some of my filmmaker friends might want to know more about that.
yes. So my company, the Film Festival Doctor, has been running for almost 10 years now, and we work in the area of film distribution. So what we do is we help our clients get their films seen in festivals around the world, so they can win awards, get noticed, raise their profile, and help them network with other filmmakers to make more films. So the way we do that is people tend to come to me with a finished film or a film that's in script stage, whatever stage. Most of the time, they always say the same problem, which is, what do I do with the film? How do I get it out there? What am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my life? Can you help me get in the right festivals? And we say yes to all of those problems and resolve them. Because our expertise is knowing exactly where to place films and which level and tier festivals to put it into, where best to put it, and what to do with the film. And we love doing what we do. We've worked on loads of films, loads of filmmakers. Actually, we won now during the pandemic, won more awards. We've won over 900 awards now, 910. And if anybody who has a film, feature, short, documentary, fiction, whatever you've got, we can help you. So if you just at the point now thinking, what do I do with it? How do I get it out there? We solve those problems.
Outstanding, outstanding. So great. Well, you can go to our website. Go ahead and say your website again so I don't say it wrong.
So it's thefilmfestivaldoctor.com.
Okay, great. And we have that here in the notes, so we'll post that as well. And okay, great. All right. And so tell us in about a minute or so, what's the next frontier for you? What do you got cooking?
So I'm on my way to making my move to LA at the moment. So I have an apartment there, and I know I can finally move in there permanently. So we'll be in LA, I'll be getting more outreach of my company and my book in LA and doing speaking gigs whilst I'm there. And that'll be more like next year, obviously. And right now it's preparing everything for January and getting very excited. And I'm also excited to have just launched the book on Kindle, and it will be also in bookstores in America and UK from around February onwards next year.
Okay. So the book will be available then. Okay.
Yep.
Great. All right. Well, wonderful. Well, we come to the point of the show where we take a take a moment for you to share more about what you've got to give to the audience. So tell us more about the opportunity for people to get the book. Now, you did mention that it's coming out in February. They can get it at Amazon.com. So you just go ahead and type in "Born to Do It." That'd be the easy way, and then put in Rebekah's name. Maybe you probably want to put
Yeah.
that there to make sure.
I mean, you can buy it now in paperback and on Kindle. It's all out. It came out in October.
Okay.
So the PR tour. So if you just type into Amazon.com "Born to Do It," it'll come up, and you can order it on my website for a signed copy, which is RebekahLouisaSmith.com. And there'll be obviously a book tour coming up soon as well in the new year, which I'm going to be announcing dates for when they get confirmed, which will probably be in January. But you can buy it in bookstores from February.
Yeah, Born to Do It. Becoming the leader of a business niche using powerful spiritual principles. So there you go. Go get a copy. All right, so let's go ahead and take a moment to do the next part of the show where I do my energy scanning. And so that's where I'll tune in and see what guidance I have to share with you, Rebekah. So are you ready to receive that?
I am. Yes, please.
All right, great. Let's see what comes through today. It's always fun to see what wants to happen. Yeah, I think just really, one of the things really coming to me is you continue to embrace your uniqueness. Like you got like, well, I don't know if that's yellow or not on your nail polish, but whatever that is, whatever color it is, it's something like that. But like all these different aspects where you stand out, where you're like, boy, you're really different looking, like, but it's like in a good way, but like it's like, wow, you're really different looking. Like that not only came through the show, but like it's coming through the reading. Like it's just showing me because it has to match the frequency within you, right? So it's like you are a very different frequency from others, and the people that need you are looking for that. Like I picked up on that during the show. I'm like, yep, the right frequency of person is like you're invaluable to them, and maybe not as valuable maybe to others, but like the right people, very like invaluable. So all right, let's see what else is coming through. I'll just share what comes through. Sometimes I get like the Wiccan or witch energy. So I've got that from the past lives. So the nice part of that is you have, I sense you have some untapped potential in the area of mysticism and miracles and all that kind of stuff, and the mystical soup that you can play in and work with. That's in your field. And so I feel like that'll be I think it's part of what you're into, like that whole aspect of how that weaves into filmmaking too. Like there's so much, I see like all these connections like tuning in, and it's hard to describe it all in just a minute or two, but I feel like you're going to utilize that more in the future to help people to do even more maybe highly creative things is kind of what comes to me. And also just, I think you'll use it more to bring more success and ease into people's lives too. So it's like another deeper layer of magic you're going to bring into people's spheres to support them, and of course yourself, in your own life. But so that's what comes through. Let's see if there's maybe one last message. Yeah, okay, there's a message around staying solid and clear. So keep your signal solid and clear. It feels like there may be some things that want to pull you off your center at times in a big way, like, no, come way over here, and it might be tempting sometimes to do that at moments. So it's like they're saying, no, stay solid and clear. Don't allow that to happen. So it's like almost like a warning, like stay solid and clear, not to get just, what if someone says, hey, we're going to throw a bunch of money at you. You could make a film, you could do, or whatever. If it was something that's like sounded intriguing, but was off your center, they're trying to, it feels like they're kind of trying to warn you is to be careful, be solid and clear about what's really the most true for you. So that's what's coming in on that aspect as well.
Right, being true to myself. That's excellent. That's really useful advice. And I've been standing your ground, and the untapped potential is going to be interesting for next year. Tune into that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Great. So if people want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com, and there's opportunity there to be able to gain an energy scan consultation. And there's also an opportunity to gain access to my free meditative make money meditation. People are making money by even just opening up their energies every day, getting downloads. So go ahead and take advantage of that at yoursacredpurpose.com. Get your free meditate and make money meditation. So Rebekah, so as we're closing now, do you have any last words to share with the audience today?
Well, thank you very much for today's interview. It was really lovely. And to the audience, I would say never give up on your dreams and keep doing what your soul guides you to do.
No matter what is what I always say too. Okay, no matter what. Okay, awesome. That's right. You filmmakers, keep going. I've got people that I'm going to send this to. People are wanting to do big things in the film industry, and it's in their soul. And we have to encourage people that it's there. You have to stay committed, and it's going to happen. So
definitely.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you again, Rebekah, so much. And thank you for everyone tuning in. Keep on tuning in, and we'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Till next time, everyone.
You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.